Welcome to the Jim Bakker Show, coming to you from the village of Morningside, snuggled in the beautiful Ozark Mountains. I'm Kevin Shorey and the Morningside Singers and Band. And now, direct from Gray Street at Morningside, here are your hosts, Jim and Lori Bakker.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Gray Street.
Yes.
We're so grateful to have you here.
We are.
And we have some friends from back at PTL in the audience today. The Belts are here with us.
Oh, that is so
and
wonderful.
we're thrilled to have you guys here.
Yes, Jim and Carol.
He said, I'm Jim Belk, and I looked in his eyes and I said, oh, you're not.
They're sitting next to
It's
Carol. Carol and Carol are sitting next to each other.
The two Carols. And they went to our pastor's church back in the 70s.
They went to Patrick Cleet and Carol's church in Michigan.
And they worked and helped me build
And
PTL.
then they came down to Charlotte and helped you there.
So we're happy to have them here
Yes.
and all the other folks visiting with us today.
Yes.
We just love having you all here. And so much is going on in the world
So much.
that the Lord is coming back.
Yes.
The events are taking place faster and faster and faster and faster. Zach, you know, we can't keep up with it. We work all day, all night, and you kids are studying all the time, reading the headlines, reading the scriptures, and now our dear friend John Paul Jackson has gone to be with the Lord, and it's kind of overwhelming because do you ever feel like, God, did you make a mistake? You know what I mean? And you know he doesn't make any mistakes, but John Paul is so young, looks so young, and yet it was God's time for him to go home.
Yeah, and I believe that John Paul Jackson has a fantastic legacy.
Absolutely.
And his legacy is going...
Yes.
We're going to see his legacy keep going until Christ comes back. I mean,
Yes.
I really believe in the same way that even though David Wilkerson is gone, that he's still ministering. We're still using his books. He's still preaching the gospel, saving souls. I believe John Paul Jackson is going to have a similar type of legacy.
Absolutely.
Actually, in the next couple of days, what we want to do is share clips from our show. He's I think about 9 shows.
We did 8 shows with John Paul Jackson.
8 shows with him. And we've been watching them, going back, looking over all of what he said. And what's insane, the things he prophesied have come true, many of them since he was here last.
Wow.
And Dave Wilkerson, you remember, has prophesied so many things.
Yes.
In his, it seems like hundreds of books. I'm sure it's just dozens of books. But the things that Dave Wilkerson prophesied are now one after another coming to pass.
That's
The
right.
stuff that John Paul Jackson has prophesied, they're coming true, they're happening, and wait till we show you some things that I believe is going to startle you. Didn't you love him, Kevin?
Love him. Loved his ministry. Loved one facet of his ministry was interpreting dreams, and I really, I don't know if there's anybody that can do. I'm sure there's someone, but man, he really knew how to interpret dreams. That was a gift of his as well, and he's going to be missed in the body of Christ.
Yes, he is.
You know, we have so many things. We have so many news items. ISIS is doing crazy things. It's getting more crazy and more crazy. ISIS just severed the heads of about 21 men on the beach. And in that speech, they said they are going to take over the world, basically, but they are going to destroy Rome.
That's right.
And we have some information as we'll put this together today that will show you even John Paul Jackson prophesied that Rome would be destroyed. And so we're going to share some of that. I am so excited. We have a new product. You know, we're always a part of inventing things, and I'm not an inventor, but I'm a creator of ideas and things. And we have today probably the most amazing invention, the only one that I know of in the world. This is the first one. It's just come out. I've been using it for what, 3-4 days. Laura, you have one.
I do.
Personal. We test them first. It's the Seychelles pH 2O pure water filtration.
That's right.
Now,
Okay.
the thing is, we've been reading and reading about water purification. I know, Lynn, you have a water purifier for a pH. Actually, it's a pH enhancer, increase the pH of water. You paid what? Thousands of dollars for it, right? $1,500. A lot of people pay $3,000 for pH. Do you know
some of the water, like I believe it's like Kagan, some of those can actually get up to around $4,000 per unit. And what they do is they raise the pH. They're trying to get the pH higher than 7, because higher than a 7, you see the scale goes from 0 to 14. Anything below 7 is considered acidic water. And anything above 7 itself is neutral. Everything above 7 is considered alkaline water, and that's what you want to be drinking.
But our doctor tells us they want your, can I say urine on TV? To test for 7 or 7.1. And that's the idea. They want your pH, when you drink it, they want it to be somewhere between 8 and 9.5 or something like that.
For all parts of your health. I mean, I think almost everybody, and if you don't know, then you're learning for the first time that your pH level needs to be, your alkaline level needs to be high in your body to keep you healthy, to keep all the vital organs in your body.
We're not even
good.
Supposed to be announcing this today.
No, you just went for it immediately.
So we can't keep talking. But
okay.
They're in the warehouse. This bottle's the first one off the assembly line. They're done. It's a miracle. This is amazing product. It costs a lot to do it. It's a much more expensive filter. But your doctor, Dr. Don Colbert, he literally subscribed or prescribed you to go on pH, high pH water.
Yes, especially last year when I was going through the treatment for the hepatitis C, through that whole 9 horrendous months, but he said, Laura, you have to have pH water.
Blood is always at a 7.4 pH, but you measure the acidic level of a human body by the acidity in your urine. And he, as a doctor, said the majority of his patients come in with an acidic level around a 5 pH. Now, understand what this is. So it might not seem too bad because 5 is about, 2 points from 7. That's not how the scale works.
No.
You see, from 5 to 6, it's a difference of 10. And from 5 to 7, it's exponential. It's a difference of 100. So majority of our bodies are 100 times more acidic than they need to be. And that is where you see cancer thrives in an acidic body. I have here, it talks about...
But Dr. Otto Warburg, have you ever heard of him? He's the man who discovered cancer. And this is what he says. No disease, including cancer, can exist in an alkaline environment. And that's why you want the pH to go up. That's why your doctor said, Lori, when you were going through like a cancer therapy.
Like chemo.
Like chemotherapy.
Cousin to chemo, yes.
And you're doing so much better. You went through a year of
building my body back.
But I call him Dr. Seychelles. He is the founder of the Seychelles industry. And he has developed reverse osmosis for offices, and he's sold a lot of his products to Coca-Cola and to some of the biggest companies in the world. And he is a genius. He developed all of ours, and you can. This is what I carry with me all the time. We took this to Israel.
We took that all over Israel, and we didn't go a day without it.
And we traveled.
We don't go
every
anywhere without it. Not even other countries. Just every day.
But this takes out everything. This basically takes out everything. And now our new filter in this one, it even takes out
radiation. Yes, because in that one, your extreme survival warfare bottle has the extreme filter. So it takes out 99.9999% of all bacteria and contaminants and it takes out radiation as well.
Right.
Yes, and did you see what's happening with the radiation from Japan this
Yes.
last week?
Mhm.
It's unbelievable that it's gone up like 70% or something. And but these bottles, water makes all the difference with energy, with fighting disease,
Oh,
Well, your body's
in,
70%.
infections,
Right.
and,
Yes.
and all of that.
They say a healthy person on average should drink about 8 glasses of water a day. I mean, our bodies are made up of about 70% water.
But this, my heavy-duty Seychelles water filtration, this is the extreme.
Right.
This is the ultimate of what we've been a part of. And the Seychelles people have just, honestly, you remember when the Japanese earthquake took place and the
Yes,
The-
in Fukushima and the radiation plant, the nuclear
their
plant.
plants exploded
Yes,
and it's still spreading.
that's right.
And I said to him, we need a filter that will filter the radiation out of the water. That's what this filter also does. So this filter does everything. And so we're still offering. We have them in stock right now. And believe me,
You need that too.
you don't have to store water if you have these.
It's the truth.
You can literally run mud puddles through this bottle.
Yes.
And
Or you can go to your
so
pool.
we
or-
got a special deal still going, and we got to let it go for a few more weeks because it's really great.
Yes, you can get a deal with the survival warfare bottles for a donation of $50. And like you said, Pastor, this is when you can use this in streams and lakes, in swimming pools in times of emergency. And whenever we took it to Israel and different places where you shouldn't be really drinking the water.
I
So
drank water out of this in the Mississippi River during the Great Flood
Remember
of
those
a couple
floods?
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin, remember that when
Sir.
I did that? But see, the filter's in here, so that you don't drink the water until it goes through the filter.
Yes,
Right.
that's right.
And it's great because even if it leached, which this does not, this is not, what number is this one on the bottom of there? They're number 4, I think they are, 4 or 5, which they don't leach. They
That's
don't
right.
have poison
That
in them.
plastic.
But the thing, if they did,
Taste. Yeah.
it's filtering as you drink it.
That's right.
And through this a mighty, mighty, mighty filter.
That's
so
right.
now if they want to get
Yes, you can get
more than one.
If you want to get more than one, we have a 3 for 2 special because it's one for a donation of $50. The 3 for 2 special is for a donation of $100, so you're going to receive 3. And then also we have a baker's dozen for a donation of $400 to the ministry. You're going to receive 13 of the extreme survival warfare bottles.
We didn't mean to get into this deep with this right now.
No.
But-
Let me remind everybody, the food buckets, most of those food is no good unless you have water.
That's
have to have
right.
water.
So this is
You
really
have to have
important.
water.
True.
But I just couldn't
That's
wait
good.
to announce
Yes.
that
Oh, this
we
is
now
so
it's
exciting.
called Seychelles pH 2O Pure.
Can I just say one more thing about that new filter, that
Okay.
new Seychelles?
Yes.
You see, there are certain things that thrive in an acidic environment. Some of the things that thrive, and I have a little list I made here. It's arthritis thrives in an acidic environment, cancer, diabetes, fibromyalgia, heart disease, multiple sclerosis, osteoporosis, and you're way more prone to strokes with an acidic level. And you see, this filter, it still filters out radiation, and it still filters out things like aesthetics, chemicals, all the dissolved solids, and it enhances the pH. So it's essentially the exact same filter as a survival warfare bottle, except for it doesn't filter out the extremely harmful bacteria that you're going to find in like lakes and rivers like the Mississippi. But this, if you just start with regular water, it's going to enhance your pH between.
This is the idea of this. If to do what this does, you'd have to spend maybe $1,500
Minimum.
Maybe
to 5,000. I can tell you
Yes.
right now. I personally know
We've
somebody
had
who
people
paid
trying to sell us-
$5,000
we've-
for one of those machines.
that's right. We've had people try to sell them to
We've
us
had
for and
people try to sell us
$5,000
that much,
for the machine. We're talking about this is just invented.
It's
I
so
know
exciting.
of no other bottle in the entire world that does this.
No.
You get a tester. You can get little dropper things. It changes the color
Yep.
to see if you know what the pH is.
Yes.
This is amazing. This retails for $120.
Yes. That's
but
right.
It increases your pH which doctors say they do it, but the cost is a fortune.
Right.
Now, we're offering it for a $100 gift to a ministry, and if you want 2 of them, I'm going to throw in a third one as a gift. You know me, I'm always giving stuff away. And so if you want to get, instead of, one for $100,
Okay.
then you get 2 for
Okay.
$200.
So like a
Great.
three for
But
two
we're,
So a
offer.
three
but
for
what we're
two.
throwing in, so you're getting 3
Fantastic.
in this.
Awesome.
And this is a first day offer.
Wow.
And
That's
the
like,
man who invented this will be here on the show in a few weeks, but I'm sneaking it out here
Yeah.
because they're
so
made.
you get
It's
3
it's
for
the
2.
greatest thing. I've been drinking it for
It's-
days.
I have to. I have to tell you. Okay, first of all, I'm going to
Oh.
tell you. This is an everyday. Okay, in
Lori.
my personal opinion, this is my personal opinion. This is your everyday water bottle over this. You have to have this for extreme emergencies.
Oh,
or
yeah, if you're
whatever.
going out
Okay.
in the
So I'm
woods.
so excited because has been my everyday water bottle. But here's the great thing. This is so much easier to drink out of. You can get so much more water because the filter isn't, well, that's...
It's a different filter,
Yeah, it's a different
but it
filter.
still
Yes.
takes
Yeah.
out a tremendous amount of bad stuff.
It's amazing. I just
But
can't believe how
if
much
this
how
didn't
easy
do
it
anything
is
else,
to drink out of.
I don't even want you guys to talk about what else it does. It does tremendous things, and we'll talk about that someday.
Can
But
I, what does it raise the pH to?
yeah, so I want.
This is incredible.
All right, I've tested and tested it. This is my personal bottle. I had my name scribbled on the side. We got it erased off from it. This bottle raises the water to 9.5.
Oh my goodness!
9.5.
I don't think you realize
All right.
how important
No,
it is. They're
this is the most popular bottled water
It is.
probably in America. There's a lady online who tested every single bottled water. And do you know what she found out?
What did she
And
find?
I'm not going to name them, but some of your most highfalutin, expensive water was actually the worst quality of all
And see, the thing is,
water.
we buy these waters thinking we're
'Cause
gonna
you
do
think you're
something
hotsy
good, or
totsy.
we're gonna do something good for our bodies and drink some good water that's pure and clean.
Okay.
But after finding that
Now,
out,
You guys were there.
Oh,
We
it's
just
heartbreaking.
tested it. I could do it right now if you want. This is water out of the store there.
Okay,
Lori
so
doesn't know a thing about how to do this.
Now,
and so
yeah,
you
I'm learning.
dip it in
I
to
can feel
right
it
at that
in my-
rim
Okay.
and stir it around a little bit,
Okay.
and then just
Okay.
let it
Sasha's
sit
been the one that's
Okay. Just
and
see
hold
what
it
it's,
still
just see
and
what
as
it's gonna
still as
do
you
now.
can get it.
Yeah, just well, let it go. Wait a minute now. It's 5.8 right now.
Yes.
It's
It's acidic.
it's still
Yes.
dropping.
Anything under
Wow.
7 is acidic, right?
Anything under 7. So
Still dropping.
5 is just terribly acidic. This is 5 something right
Now
now.
it's
Let's-
5.7.
This,
5.7.
okay.
Oh.
All right. Now,
wow.
where's
Okay.
where's my bottle? Give me a bottle here. Now, I'm going to take this pH water and pour it into here. Okay. And then this is the one. This is my bottle. I drink out of it.
And now
It's-
that's the cup that just tested
Oh,
at
I see, you're
5.7
Yeah. This
pH,
tested.
which is over 10 times more acidic than it should be.
This is
So that's the water
The
we just
purchased-
tested.
bottled water, and
Put
we'll
through the Seychelles filter,
and now
and now stir it a little bit, and then let it sit.
okay, there it is. Water that a few minutes ago was 5.7 is now 9.22. 9.2.
Wow. Is it still raising too?
And that is
Wow.
pH water. That is,
That's awesome.
and if you don't know about pH, go online, study it. Go to your doctor, ask your doctor. Most doctors I know tell us drink pH water. And so you can order them right now if you want to get started and you want to be drinking this. I've just been drinking it, and I'll tell you what, it just does something to your intestines because bad stuff can't live.
Exactly. And knowing that you're doing something good for your body, first of all, mentally, it gets in your mind, but your body is actually receiving what's good for it and what it actually needs. It's so exciting. We have been waiting for this product for a long time. We've been talking to you about it, and it has finally arrived. It is here.
Yeah.
I would call 1-888-988-1588 and order your bottle or bottles now immediately.
And they're in the warehouse. They ship directly from the Seychelles plant. They ship directly. We have a special it costs us a lot of money to do this. The shipping is very, very expensive. The handling and all the, but everything is increasing. And so what we're doing is, because we've had so many problems for years, even this last year is almost put us under because we haven't been able to get everything shipped because they can't even manufacture it. Well, the first manufacturing plant full of these is in stock right now.
Okay.
You don't want to not have it. And this is the one you keep at your house, and you just drink out of it. Every day you drink
all
out
day long.
of your pH bottle just to change the pH of your body. But, I mean, for $100, and then if you get 3 of them, I don't know, what is 203s? It's about $65.
Thank you, Pat, once again. Pat,
$65 for one person's pH. Now you tell me where else, and you saw me test it, and you test it. You get a tester and test it. There's 2 ways to test that I know of. There's droppers, and they go on a color scheme, and then there's this meter like we have there. You know, one of the famous doctors, he says, you know, you're not thirsty. You're sick.
Yeah.
You're literally sick. And he also says about energizing. He said, water is what gives you energy. And people don't realize it.
That's the truth.
They get down, so they drink soda pop. And soda pop is a killer. It has spoonfuls of sugar. Doesn't help the medicine go down. I mean, it is horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking just a couple weeks ago, and you were telling me how tired you were. And I said, well, Pastor, what you need to do is you need to drink, well, I don't know. This is the advice I gave him, because I used to be a football player, and we did 2-a-days, and they would say drink as much water as possible until you feel like you're almost going to be sick, and then stop. And so that was with football conditioning. But whenever your body receives so much water, there's actually oxygen in water, and that oxygen will go into your bloodstream. And that's what makes your body feel so alive, and it's like it feels like it's open, and you just feel so great is whenever you drink water, because it's putting more oxygen inside of your body.
It's the premier of them today. We're for the first time, we've been waiting for months and months for them to come. And so if you want to be the first one, the operators are standing by, and in a few days you'll have these pH. They're called pH 2O. It's like pH and then H2O. So you got pH 2O pure water filtration. That's the name of the new bottle, the Seychelles pH 2O pure.
That's right.
Water.
And it'll raise your water for pH between 8 to 9.5.
Yeah.
That's right.
And test it yourself. See what it does. I want to roll a little roll in from John Paul Jackson, the last time he was here with us, when he was talking about the perfect storm. So much is happening. As we sat down to dinner, this was in the restaurant, and the headline is "Terror Returns," and it says terror returns as Boston is rattled, as America goes on alert. What in the world is going on?
Well, I believe that God's wanting to get our attention, obviously, and in getting our attention, He allows certain things to happen. He could stop anything, but there's a whole judicial system of God that He works through. And everything God does is full of justice. There is no injustice in Him. And so what we're talking about today is this issue of what I call, or what He called actually, the coming perfect storm. That perfect storm that he talked about was really basically this. If you remember the movie, or many of you may have seen the movie, the perfect storm. Well, it was an alignment. In that movie, it was an alignment of three weather systems that suddenly came together in an unexpected way that had never happened before. And that's the same thing that he was talking about when he called this the coming perfect storm, about five events or five types of things that were going to be happening that had really never happened before, never converged before. And those five things were the area of religion, politics, economics, war, and geophysical events. So there would be several things. It's not like one thing in each of the five categories. It's many things in each of the five categories. So a swirl of activity, a swirl of a storm, each of the five was a hurricane in itself. But when you brought all five together, it became even more concerning to the United States and around the world. It wasn't just going to happen in America. It was going to happen here, yes, but also in other countries as well. And what would be happening in other countries that then would allow this storm to even worsen as time went along. It was a 10 or so year period, not exactly from exactly this date to this day, but God speaks, and he does speak in terms of exactness, but in this particular case, he was just letting me know it was around a 10-year period of time from 2010 to around 2020. And so a little before 2010, a little after 2020, but it was a period of escalation is what he was really wanting to convey, a period of escalation of events.
When did you start teaching on the perfect storm? About 5 years, was
2007, I actually started teaching on it. I resisted. For about a year and a half, I resisted God. I tried to avoid it, but then the Lord finally put my hand behind my back, and I said, "Yes, Lord, I will do that. I will."
What's so amazing, what you were talking about in the perfect storm, is it's going to all start coming together. Those points are already past. I mean, they're already happening.
They're already happening.
So is it going to get faster and faster?
Yeah, it'll get faster and faster. It will escalate. Each of the five will escalate with more and more activity in each of the five areas. So right now you're looking at economic issues. You're looking at the stock market that is incredibly volatile. You're looking at gold that is plummeting, which the Lord really told me. He said, gold is going to go up to nearly $2,000 an ounce, and then it will plummet.
Wait a minute. This is awesome. Yesterday's paper. Mm-hmm. What is that? Gold has worst drop in 30 years. You prophesied that
years ago.
And it's going a lot further up and down. I mean,
right.
The craziness, people.
It's going to go down more.
Don't get settled because something goes up. Because the higher something goes up, the further down it can come.
Right. The Lord told me about a quantitative easing that was going to take place. And now we're in what they call QE3, which is an unending quantitative easing of $80 billion a month that's being released into our economy. And basically they're printing. It's all digital. So it's not like actual dollars in your hand because it's all digital money right now. Mm-hmm. But they're releasing $80 billion a month into our economy. That's the third quantitative easing that we've had. And the Lord said there will be, when he spoke, he said there will be a second one and there will be a third one that will take place.
I love this video where you sat down with us and talked about the perfect storm. It was kind of an intimate thing you did,
right, where
you were sharing with your friends. And so I took notes. I scribble on things wherever I have, and you said, this is 5 years ago, there would be snowstorms, and it sounded so drastic that would have 3 foot of snow.
In a very short period of time.
It would be
six-hour period of time.
Mm-hmm. Did that happen?
Yes,
it happened.
It sure did.
When did that happen, Lori?
Didn't it just happen?
Yes.
Just this
you know
past
what
winter,
I mean?
yes.
And then there would be drought. We're in one of the worst droughts across America.
Right.
And that drought, the harvest would be affected. There will be shortage of food. And then the sun, and the stars, and the moon, all that.
You know, Jim, I just think what we just watched, that B-roll of John Paul Jackson when he was here with us at Morningside, that what he talked about, the perfect storm. You know, I can remember sitting next to you right here and looking over at John Paul and thinking, wow, he's speaking prophetically. Yeah, I get that, but I'm not even seeing all these pieces come together even right now. And that was not too long ago. when he was here.
And
yet
believe
now,
me, it's now.
all these pieces have come together.
Shocking together.
It really is incredible. So the perfect storm.
I want
is
to get
what?
I want to get to another piece, because he actually foretold what just happened a few days ago with ISIS.
Yes, he did.
Just he foretold. And you know, he's passed away, he's gone to heaven. But like Dave Wilkerson, God's using him in heaven to continue his ministry.
Yes.
And we have the videos, thank God. And remember, the perfect storm is, number one, religion.
Yes.
Do we not have a storm of religion going on?
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Don't we have a
Everywhere you look.
storm
Yes.
of the religions
yes,
of the
yes.
world?
Yes, the religions of the
And
world.
the anti-religion and the anti-Jesus Christ.
Yes.
And then the storm of politics.
Oh, boy.
We have never had. Politics is literally turning against Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
America has become a country that I don't know who she is anymore. And then we have the third point is economics.
Right.
And Greece, look what's the headline about Greece? I just had it today. Greece, the banks are
This
they're
headline,
having runs on their banks. It says worried depositors rush to pull cash out of Greek banks. It sounds like something he would read, doesn't it?
yes, it does. And it says this. It says, in the midst of the dramatic showdown in Brussels between the new Greek government and its European creditors, many Greek depositors, spooked by the prospect of a Greek default or worse, an exit from the Eurozone and a possible return to the drachma, have been pulling euros out of the nation's banks in record amounts over the past few days.
Okay, then he says number 4 part of the perfect storm is what? Wars. We got more wars going on, big ones, little ones. Wars all over.
Yeah.
We just found out Iran they discovered that they've built plants to build atomic warheads underground. And
I believe that these last wars are not just going to be your typical type of wars. It's going to be your type of wars that Matthew 24 talks about, where nations rise against nations. But that war that we've studied is ethnos rising against ethnos. And another way to say that is ethnic group rising against ethnic group. You see, it's not Russia versus this or Iran versus this. It's truly ethnic group.
Yeah.
Whenever you look at the religious wars, it's ethnic group against ethnic group.
Yeah.
And this is the coming of this wars portion of the coming perfect storm.
it's crazy war. It's crazy war. A war on the Mall of America.
Right.
You know, it's so funny. I
Huh.
watched the news about the war on the Mall of America, that the ISIS and all, they have declared that they're going to come and that they're going to attack the people there.
Al-Qaeda affiliate Al-Shabaab releases a video online warning the Mall of America could be its next target. More than 100,000 people shop at that mall in Minnesota every day. The Somali terror group calling for a new wave of attacks on Western shopping centers. It's the same group that claimed responsibility for an attack that left more than 60 dead at the Westgate Mall in Nairobi, Kenya in 2013. Doug McElway, live at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota right now. Doug, what's going on there?
Well, John, terrorists, of course, know that one of the most effective weapons they have is fear itself. And if they can inject enough of that to keep people away from shopping malls, to keep people from shopping, then they've won a small victory. One sign of the Mall of America's sensitivity about this particular issue, they're keeping people like me, camera crews, live trucks, all equipment outside the mall to the staging area just across the street. But the Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported yesterday that all things were normal here. There were no diminution of a crowd at all. No signs of stepped up in security, or at least overt stepped up security. That after the Al-Qaeda affiliated Somali terrorist group Al-Shabaab released a video threatening attacks on the Mall of America, another shopping center in Edmonton, Canada, shopping centers in London, England, and elsewhere. And in a departure from the administration's typical downplaying of the terrorism threats, DHS Secretary Jay Johnson warned shoppers at places like this to be vigilant. Here he is.
I would say that if anyone is planning to go to the Mall of America today, they've got to be particularly careful. And as the statement you read indicates, there will be enhanced security there that will be apparent.
And then we have, what do we have about Rome? And we're gonna go into that this week. They have declared, they beheaded 21 men from Egypt. Horrible, most awful thing I've ever seen. I saw it with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Just slicing the heads off. And they said that they were declaring war on the nation or the city of the cross.
The nation of the cross. That's
Rome.
right.
Rome.
O people, recently you've seen us on the hills of Hashem and on Dabok's plain, chopping off the heads that have been carrying the cross delusion for a long time, filled with spite against Islam and Muslims. And today, we're on the south of Rome, on the land of Islam, Libya, sending another message. O Crusaders, safety for you will be only wishes, especially when you're fighting us all together. Therefore, we will fight you all together until the war lays down its burdens and Jesus, peace be upon him, will descend, breaking the cross, killing the swine, and abolishing jizya.
And so what's happened? We have Italy and the Vatican on guard after ISIL threatens. Rome, the Italian government is on high alert after threats from the Islamic State called Italy. The nation signed with the blood of the cross, and the country would probably need help to confront the military group.
That's right, and this is the message. We dealt with it extensively about these 21 Coptic Egyptian Christians being beheaded, and that video was called "The Nation Signed with the Blood of the Cross." And this article here that like Pastor said, Italy and the Vatican on guard after this threat. Why? It says Italian officials fear extremists could enter the country amid the growing tide of refugees arriving by boat from North Africa. The video threat, released with images of the 21 Coptic Christians from Egypt who were beheaded this month, warned that the Islamic State forces were south of Rome. They said that, like they're just threatening, we're just south of Rome. And they said this in Libya. And at the closest point, Libya is a little more than 100 miles from the Italian islands of Sicily and Sardinia. 100 miles.
In a few weeks, we're going to have Thomas Horn back with us. The final pope, before we leave the show, I want you to see some pieces come together, because you better get ready. You better be ready for something. If I was living in the city, I'd move to the country right now, I'll tell you that. And I just feel so strong there's somebody been thinking about it. I'll tell you what, if you're rich enough, have you a house in the city and one in the country so you can get out there. Because I'm telling you, something's going to happen. I just want people to know that we work night and day to bring this show to them.
It is the truth.
And we need to stop having to raise money every day all the time. I just want to bring people in, and I want to inform you. But we've got to pay a huge bill to stay on the air. And we need people who will say, Jim, you say, Jim, I don't have that $1,000 to give for food or this. That's all right. Give what you can. Yeah. If we don't have some help, we can't stay on the air. We are focusing on what I believe is the final hour. Mm-hmm. These blood moons, we're in that era. We're in that time.
We are.
All of this is coming together right now. Isn't it time?
We're in the middle of a tetrad.
Yes, it is.
Here's one of the biggest situations we have right now. For the last year, we thought we'd solved our shipping problems, and they just were getting worse. We have revamped our shipping center. We are adding another building onto the shipping center. We are doing everything. The people we order from. Yeah. The coconut is... Lori and I studied this. We've traveled. We have seen about coconut. Coconut is known as the miracle tree.
It is.
Isn't it the miracle tree?
Tree of life.
Tree of life.
Yes.
And we've discovered that it's the only thing I can find that has any help to Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying it cures Alzheimer's. No. I know this. I know too many people that start using it and it helps their brain. Mm-hmm. And God knows we all could use some brain food.
Oh, boy.
But here's what happened.
Yeah.
We had so many orders. I mean, thousands and thousands that it took 6 months to get caught up. I'm just telling you the truth, what's going on. Then the food. We ran out of food again. The Food for Health did. The parts of the food, so it took them, they couldn't get it in stock.
Right.
So they couldn't ship the orders because they couldn't ship parts of orders. So it took them months. And people were very upset, so they wanted their money back. And so one thing after another happened. And I could just go on and on. I don't want to bore you with it.
But the main is, you're talking about the coconut, you're talking about
coconut's
the food.
in stock.
It's in
The
stock.
food's in stock.
The food's in
But
stock.
Lori, but what is,
the water bottles are in stock, so there's no excuse for
but
you
what's
now.
happened,
you just have to be patient
we got
with our
behind,
shipping.
Lori.
I know.
And people, I think some people got upset.
Yes.
And
sure.
And we're doing everything we know to do.
Well, we're not QVC
and you know what?
or HSN. I mean, we're just not that quick, or Amazon. You can't.
But we're a ministry.
Yeah, we're a ministry that we're doing the best that we can.
What would be
to help
what
you.
would be nice if we could just have some folks give with no gifts back. Wouldn't that be good? We just have a love offering one day.
Yes.
And then we could stay on the air. But all I'm saying is we want to keep broadcasting.
Yeah.
And we need to broadcast. God has given us a message, and we hope we have the guts to bring on the air the people that you need to hear. All right, let's roll that piece about the prophecy of the popes from John Paul Jackson. I was on, I think it was Joni's program, when I mentioned that it was that day. You and I were together. That day, the Pope resigned. And you're actually reading this book. What's the name of it?
The Final Pope, Petrus Romanus.
Yeah. He mentions the history of the popes. Now, this is not from the Bible, so I take it with a grain of salt. But when somebody has a track record, have you studied enough, Mr. Horn, to know that the track record of that?
I have read the prophecies of Malachi.
Yes.
Concerning the next 112 bishops of Rome, which is interesting because the Catholic Church split off, and part of it went to Constantinople, but part of it stayed in Rome. And he didn't call it the Pope, he called it the bishops of Rome. Very interesting, because in that process they were still called the bishops of Rome, even though they had that split. And so you had a faction that went to Constantinople and formed a fragment of the church there, and then you had the Catholic Church that remained in Rome itself. So we're at the 112th bishop of Rome right now, which is the last pope that this saint called Saint Malachi, who traveled back and forth between Ireland and Rome. He prophesied of those 112 popes that are the next 112 bishops of Rome that would come. For example, he told about John Paul I and said he would reign 33 days. And he was put into office, and 33 days later he died. And he talked about Pope John Paul II, and he would run about in the light of the sun and die in the dark of the moon. When that's exactly what happened. And so then he talked about the next pope, the 111th pope, would be a pope that had an olive branch. It would be known as the olive branch. And so literally the Catholic Church tried not to look for any type of sign whatsoever, so that they didn't follow the pathways of Malachi, the prophecies of Malachi, because they did not want this to come true. And we'll tell you about that in a minute. And Tom will tell you even more about it, I'm sure. I don't want to steal his thunder here. And he knows way, way more than I do. But the idea is basically this. At the 112th bishop of Rome, Malachi said that Rome would burn. The city and the seven hills would burn. And that's why they didn't want the Malachi prophecies to come true.
And the 111th pope is who?
Well, the 111th pope was Pope Gregory, and he had an olive branch in his family coat of arms.
All right, the final pope is alive right now of that prophecy.
Yes.
So here you have a man from heaven talking to us on a video. You have ISIS, who just said, as they cut off the 21 men's head on the beach, and I saw it with my own eyes, couldn't believe it, the most horrible thing I've ever seen. But they said at that moment, at the most staged event I've ever seen in the history of warfare. Have you ever seen anything like it? I mean, it's staged like an Academy Award motion picture.
They had every moment completely planned out and every camera in position so they could show you exactly what they were doing.
And what they said is, we are coming for Rome next.
That's right.
Okay? And here you have John Paul Jackson telling us that the prophecy of the popes tell us several of them have been, several popes of history have been saying that this is going to be the final pope, that this pope will die in office. Okay, here's the book. Will I be the one, or will it be a successor? What is certain is that the pope will leave Rome, and in leaving the Vatican, he will have to pass over the dead bodies of his priests. Do not tell anyone this while I'm alive. In a second vision, during an audience with the Franciscan order in 1909, Pope Pius X appeared to fall into a trance. After a few moments, he opened his eyes and rose to his feet. And announcing, he says, I have seen one of my successors of the same name, a future pope named Pius, who was fleeing over the dead bodies of his brethren. He will take refuge in some hidden place, but after a brief respite, he will die a cruel death. Respect for God has disappeared from human hearts. Are we there?
Yes.
They wish to efface even God's memory. This perversity is nothing less than the beginning of the last days of the world. Are you there? Are you seeing it? Read that next part.
The next part says this. The third part of The Secret of Fatima, which was supposedly released in total by the Vatican June 26th of 2000, seems to echo the visions of Pius X. A section of the material reads like this. Before reaching there, the Holy Father passed through a big city, half in ruins and half trembling with halting step. Afflicted with pain and sorrow, he prayed for the souls of the corpses he met on his way. Having reached the top of the mountain, on his knees at the foot of the big cross, he was killed by a group of soldiers who fired bullets and arrows at him. And in the same way, there died, one after another, the other bishops, priests, men and women, religious, and various lay people of different ranks and positions. So these prophecies are outlined.
You saw the piece that we just ran with John Paul Jackson. Do you know when that was taped? That show that we ran a piece of Joni, that's when we first met, isn't it? I don't think I met John Paul Jackson before that show.
That was our first time that we met him. That's right.
And we were introducing my new book on prophecy, and he had read that book. And so we're on the air with him the first time, and it's the day the Pope steps down, which is unheard of. Isn't that amazing?
It's incredible. And, actually, in this book, they calculated, through a calculated prophecy, if you will, that the Pope was going to resign in April of 2012. But it was interesting that didn't actually happen. But what we later found out in reports was that he announced privately in the Vatican his resignation in April of 2012.
This book, before the Pope resigns, announced his resignation. In this book was told about it. So all I'm saying is now we have ISIS saying we're coming for Rome.
Wow.
And we are going to bring. And if you study a little bit more, and with the guests I have coming on the show, I'm going to let them explain it to you. But they believe. You want to share?
No,
go ahead.
I was going to say, they actually believe that this prophecy, this 112th prophecy of Malachi that was given hundreds of years ago, the actual prophecy concerning this very last pope, this 112th pope, says this, and this is in Petrus Romanus, Tom Horn's book. It says, in the extreme persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will sit Peter the Roman, which is this last pope, the 112th pope, who will nourish the sheep in many tribulations. When they are finished, the city of 7 hills, that's Rome, will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge his people the end. This ancient prophecy outlines the destruction of Rome.
We're near the beginning of the very, I believe, final days. I believe with all my heart that this is the end of time. This is that we have a few more years, perhaps. We have some, perhaps, but we're going to talk more and more about it. But this, all of this coming together, and this perfect storm.
Yes.
This is what he's talked about.
Mm-hmm.
All of this coming together, all these
Right.
pieces.
Right.
That's a perfect storm.
Yes, it is.
All this ISIS, all of the battles, all of the what's going on in the world, all the political things in this
the
country.
economics, the war, the geophysical, it's all. We're living it right now.
We didn't even get the geophysical.
I mean,
that was the what was that, the fifth one?
Yeah.
Yes, that was the fifth one.
And that's earthquakes.
Right.
That's volcanoes. These things we can stop. Maybe a financial thing. We could maybe pump money into the economy, and he talks about printing money.
Yes.
But you can't stop an earthquake. You can't stop a volcano. You can't stop these geophysical things that is a part of this perfect storm. And this, I've been saying it, and he says it's so much better than I do. But it's going to happen all at once, one thing after another, and no one's going to have time to get their wits together. And they're not going to have time to go and get some food or time to even plant a garden. You need to have your garden in now. As soon as spring comes, get your garden planted. And I do want to say this. I wore my hat today, and people say don't wear hats on the show, but I see this cross hat sitting on my shelf every morning, and it just says, "Wear me." And it is just such an it's the thing that really got to me. I was looking for a hat with cross. I bought Lori a whole bunch of crosses online, and for Christmas I bought her a bunch of cross necklaces, and so I was looking for a cross hat, and it said that this hat was a chaplain's hat. And I thought, wow, this is the hat they can't wear anymore, probably. They take the crosses off the tent now. They take the, they don't want to offend those who don't believe in the cross. The people who want to destroy Rome, the country of the cross, they call it.
Yes, the nation of the cross.
And I believe we ought to wear the cross. I believe we ought to stand up for the cross. I believe we ought to do whatever we can. But, if you can't, send $100 and get this brand new Seychelles pH 2O Pure, this amazing, that increases the pH of your water to 8 to 9.5 or more. I think I've seen them go up to 9.8. And you can give $100 for that. Or if you get two of them, you get a bonus one. You get a free one.
That's right.
But if you've been looking for pH water, this is a great thing to carry in your car.
Absolutely. Always.
But if you can't give $100 or you can't order the food, you need to get some food, please.
Yes.
The food's in stock. Order your food today. But I'm ordered some hats, and we're not able to order a lot of stuff ahead of time right now. But if you'd like me to have one made for you, and you say, Jim, I'll give a gift of $20 to help you stay on the air, I'll give that little gift. I'll give a gift of $20. I want to send you one of these hats with a cross on it.
Sounds
That's awesome.
good.
I love that. That's my favorite hat. I love that hat.
And our time's gone for today. Don't forget, stand with us. Our operators are standing by all the time to talk to you, and they'll be more than happy to take your pledge, to send you our new pH water bottles.
Yes.
Or just all of our items, our food, and all of the things that we offer on the program. The operators know them better than I do, and they'll help you out. Or you can go to our website, or you can write us at Post Office Box 7330 in Branson, Missouri, 65615.
That's right. Or just go to jimbakkershow.com.
God loves you. He really does. Bye-bye for today.
Bye-bye. We love you.
What if it was you being snowed in for days or weeks at a time? What will happen if a hurricane or a tornado strikes your home? Natural disasters occur every day, and they can happen anywhere without a moment's notice. With terrorism on the rise and a broken political landscape, we need to be prepared for the inevitable. Get ready now. At some point, food will be the most valuable commodity in the entire world. Our hearty home-cooked food, Year for You, is available for a donation of $550 or more to the ministry. This will ship to you in your choice of 4 buckets or 2 totes. This offer comes with 1,165 servings, which comes to 44 cents per serving. As a bonus, this offer comes with 91 servings of premium recipes. The hearty home-cooked food Year for 2 offer is for a donation of $1,100 or more to the ministry. This will come in 8 buckets or 4 totes. The Year for 2 contains 2,330 servings of food, which comes to 44 cents per serving. You will also receive 182 servings of premium recipes as a bonus. Our hearty home-cooked food Time of Trouble offer is for a donation of $3,000 or more to the ministry. This will come to you in your choice of 28 buckets or 14 totes. You will receive 7,760 servings of food, which comes to 37 cents per serving. You will also receive 273 servings of premium recipes. Each of these offers include instant milk, 9-grain cereal with salba, macaroni and cheese, macaroni lasagna, chicken noodle soup, beans and rice, vegetable stew, cheesy rice casserole, white cheddar pasta, veggie Alfredo, stroganoff, tortilla soup, black bean burgers, cornbread muffins, potato soup, chili, potato slices, chocolate fudge brownies, pancakes, and biscuits and gravy. That's 20 different recipes for you to choose from. Call 1-888-988-1588. You can also go to the website at jimbakkershow.com or write to P.O. Box 7330, Branson, Missouri 65615. Don't wait. Now is the time to prepare for your future. Get your food now for your family.